So what is this obsession with fire? Now, we know that fire will burn you. We know it gets too hot. We know that things get purified in fire as well. But there was an obsession, or maybe there was just something about me and fire that just kind of went together. So here I am. I have my story time, how fire will get you burned. Hey y'all, my name is Joni. This is Buy It, Build It, Fix It. And I know that some of you don't really know much about me, and I haven't really done one of those get to know me's yet, but I'm going to give you just a taste of some things that I've gone through in life, and I think I'll do this throughout the year. I end up getting a challenge to tell a story. So here I am. This is me doing a story time for the first time on my channel. So I was about 5 years old, and my parents were notorious for having receipts lying around the house. One day I found a cigarette lighter. And so another thing about my family is that my dad used to smoke cigarettes like all the time. So there were cigarette lighters all throughout the house. And so I found the receipt. And naturally, my curiosity at 5 years old, which I should not have been curious because I went to preschool where they told us not to play with fire. I was like, oh, receipt, cigarette lighter. And I started a fire. Well, it started getting close to my fingertips. And as it did, I ended up, thankfully, I was in a bathroom. And so I dropped it into the sink, turned the water on immediately. Fire went out. No problem. But I decided, let's try this again. So it was nighttime, and I guess because I thought I didn't have a problem the first time, so why should I have a problem the second time? So I did the same thing, found another receipt again. What did I say? My parents were notorious for having receipts lying around the home. So I found I found the receipt, then I found the cigarette lighter, lit it. Now this time I was in my bedroom, and the fire had gotten too close to my fingertips. So naturally, I drop it, but I drop it on my bed. Y'all, that pink Snoopy bedspread went up in flames. That's back when I think everything was flammable anyway. So I run down the hall, or like some people say, I runs down the hall, and I say, help, fire, fire. And immediately my mom gets up, and I think my brother was there too. My dad probably was out of town. He worked during the week. But anyway, they all came down the hallway. They got the fire out. And that pink Snoopy bedspread was destroyed. Now my bed, everything else in my bed was fine. It was just that bedspread was destroyed. So let's fast forward to April 15th, 2018. It was tax day. It was a Sunday. I was cooking dinner. Now, I'm not playing with fire because at this point, I'm old enough to know the difference, and I know not to play with fire. I learned my lesson, or at least we thought, well, I wasn't playing with fire. So I'm cooking dinner. Everything is good. I wait till the very end, and I have fried okra to cook. Now, y'all don't get on me about this in the comments, but whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. I had a fried daddy, but the recipe that I found stated to use a pan and put oil in it and turn the pan up. Now I'm not going to tell y'all who was the person that was who wrote the recipe. I don't want to accuse anybody. I'm not trying to get sued. But anyway, I'm reading this and it says turn it up. And I'm the type of person that when I'm reading directions, I'm reading it several times just to make sure I got it. So I turned around and I start getting stuff together for the fried okra. I look back on the stove. The fire, there's a huge fire, and I'm like, oh my God. Now I'm living in an apartment, okay? So my first thought was like, I didn't think nothing else. Okay, I will say this. So my significant other was there, and he was like, how do we get this out? And I was like, I don't know, Google it, because that's the first thing that comes to my mind. When you need to know something, you Google it, right? So he kind of got on me about that later. So I finally was like, there was nothing else to do at this point. Like, I'm trying to keep the apartment from burning down. So I grabbed the pan with the oil. He opens the door to the balcony, and I'm headed out to the balcony to put the pan out there until we could figure, to try to get it out of the kitchen. I don't know, whatever. This is what I did, y'all. So I put it out there, and I try to go outside, and he comes back towards the door where I am. So I have to pull the pan back because he just instantly turns. And when he does that, I scream. And then I put the pan down, and then he goes into the hallway and he finds a fire extinguisher. He comes back, extinguishes it. My neighbors are coming, so it's like 2 different sets of neighbors are coming to check and see if everything was okay, because they saw the fire from their balcony. So they were checking on me. Everything was all good. My hand was kind of feeling like it was burning a little bit, but I didn't really like have a real, like after we kind of checked to make sure everybody was still alive, everything was all good. I immediately, and I think somebody had called 911 as well. And then my significant other says, "Why were you screaming?" And I was like, "Look," and like instantly, that was just the first thing I thought was like, "Look, I had gotten a burn on my hand and on my foot." And he was like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry." And that's all he kept saying all night long. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Stop apologizing. You had the wherewithal to go get a fire extinguisher." I'm not good in emergency situations, y'all. I'm just not. And yeah, that's not a good thing, especially with my profession. But I'm not good at emergency situations. And so he thought to go in the hallway to go get this fire extinguisher, which he brought in, did what he needed to do. We got the fire out, right? But he just kept apologizing. I was like, "But if you were not here, this apartment would have gone up in flames." Like, that's all I keep thinking. I might have lost my life, And I just think God is so gracious, because even with all of that happening, even with me getting the burns, even with all of that, like, y'all, I am thankful to God to have life. And that's the most important thing to me. Now, with these burns, I did have a long healing journey, and in my mind, I'm still healing. I know it's been years, but in my mind, I'm still healing. And I'll tell you this. I'll try to, if I can find a picture of the burns, I'll pop it up on the screen. Trigger warning: if you do not want to view the pictures of the burns, please fast forward to 7 minutes 47 seconds of the video. But I will show you what has happened after, and I'll pop that picture up. One part of it has healed very well, and I actually have more of a story with these burns. So if you want to hear more of my story as it relates to the burns or the fire, let me know. But just know, ultimately, God is amazing, because he puts the right people in place all the time to take care of any situation. And so I'm thankful to him, because I still have life. Nothing really happened. Like, the apartment didn't burn. Like, I think a small part of the carpet leading outside got a little bit of oil on it, and so of course that burned the carpet. But other than that, like, y'all, I have my life. Nothing burned down. My things are still okay, and I know we shouldn't be worried about things, but my things, everything was fine. And I mean, I'm thankful to God. So that's my story about fire will burn you, right? Who knew that it would all just come back and take its course years later as a grown adult. Thank you for listening. If you want more stories like this, or even if you're just interested in content related to healthy eating or semi DIYs and paying off debt, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, share this video, or share some of my other videos. Check out some other ones that will come up on the screen that's following, and I will see you later. Bye.